Well, look who's finally filming a video after 4 months of not filming. Hello everyone, my name is Moza and I'm back. I don't know how to start a video. Yeah, I've just been really busy lately, and that's like what everyone says when I'm now in AS. I mean, A-levels are difficult, but I would be lying if I said that I wasn't enjoying A-levels. Like, I don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing that I'm not stressing, but anyway, so in this video, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be sharing my tips and advice and just my personal experience with Gcse geography. Now, I did get an A, and I was hoping for an A star, but I'm still very happy with my A grade, and I'm still very thankful. But like, you know when you're hoping for something but then you don't actually get it, but I'm over it. I still got an A. That's still really good, and so therefore I am here to save the day. I'm here to help you guys achieve a 7 or an 8 or a 9 in your Gcse geography. Now, I think I know where I messed up. I was actually very close to an A star, but for some reason it didn't really round off to an A star, and I think I know why, and I'm gonna get into that later on in the video. So a little background, I was on edXL and I did Geography A. So there was Geography A and Geography B. Not really sure what the differences are between those two. I'm sure there isn't that much of a difference. We did 3 papers and 1 coursework. We did Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3. Now, Unit 1 was all about like your skills and reading maps. I think this is where I messed up the most because reading maps is not necessarily my thing. In the exam, they gave us these maps with grids and numbers. I just didn't know how to. I just didn't know how to do it. I got a low B on this one, and this is the reason why my grade didn't really round up to an A star. But anyways, I'm really sorry that I can't give you guys advice on reading maps. If you want to know how, then I don't know, I guess ask your teacher and make sure that you actually understand how to read maps. Although, to be fair, yeah, we only did this whole unit like a week before the exam, and so like I think it's safe to say that I was not really prepared. So let's move on. Unit 2 was the physical paper. I'm not really into physical geography. I was 7 marks off full marks, and on Unit 3, which was human geography, I was 2 marks off full marks, and I still remember this one question that made me lose those 2 marks. It was a 2-marker, and the question was, describe one limitation of the demographic transition model. Now, I knew what the DTM was, but I didn't know what the limitations were. But now that I'm doing A-level geography, 1 month into the course, we learned about the limitations of the demographic transition model. Yep, in A-levels. So, but yeah, human geography is my thing. Like, obviously, I'm not saying that I'm amazing in human geography and I'm like an expert and I know everything about human geography, because obviously I don't. But I just understand it better and I like it better, and yeah, you get what I mean, right? It's also worth mentioning the fact that I did have a really good geography teacher, but he doesn't teach at my school anymore, so that's really sad. Although now that I'm in year 12 and I'm doing A-level geography, I still have really amazing teachers. I say teachers with an S. Yes, plural, because I have 2 geography teachers, okay? Now, let's get into the actual video. So, tip number 1. This may be a no-brainer to some people. Case studies, okay? Your case studies are... If you don't learn your case studies, then can you just, like, accept the fact that you're not gonna get anything above a 3? I'm gonna show you guys how I personally learned my case studies, and if you do geography and you don't know your case studies, then please do me a favor and in these remaining 4 months before your exam, learn them. I would do my case studies on an A3 paper, so not A4, not A2, but A3 paper, and I would fold it into 2. And so when you open it, there are 2 sides, obviously. So on one side, I would write one case study. On the other side, I would write another case study. But those case studies would still be within the same topic, but just different subtopics, and I'll explain that in a minute. So this one was on the topic of watery world, which was all about like water consumption and water sources. So here I have my case studies. I don't know if you guys can see, but I have my case study for the management of water usage in Leicester, and the other one is on Kildare Water in Northumberland in the UK, and this one is for the water transfer scheme. So you guys see how like they're still within the same topic, but they're just about different things. Like this one is for the management of water usage, and this one is for the water transfer scheme. So yeah, that's how I do my case studies. At the top, I just like to put like the location, the date if needed, and what that case study actually is. And then after that, I would just write everything in bullet points. For example, write about how the factory of Walker's Crisps in Leicester would manage their use of water, and I would just write everything in bullet points. And on the other one, for Kildare Water in Northumberland, which is the water transfer scheme, I would just write social, economic, and environmental impacts of having this water transfer scheme. And everything will be in bullet points. However, I should also mention that when you're in the exam, please don't write in bullet points. You're not gonna get any marks. When you're actually doing your case studies, you should like put everything into like an actual paragraph. Now this one was on the topic of, what was it, tourism, I think. So here I have my case study for Blackpool, and the other one is Gambia. So the one for Blackpool is my case study for the Butler model, which shows the, you know, the 7 stages of like an area like declining and rejuvenating, and for an EU holiday resort. And my Gambia case study is for ecotourism. I just wrote like what are the benefits of having ecotourism. For example, how is it beneficial to the environment? How is it beneficial for the people living there and for their economic as well? So essentially, it's just social, economic, and environmental impacts for every single case study. Even that's what I still do now that I'm doing my A-level. So tip number 2 is very simple, and it's your definitions. Now I don't know about you, but I used to always tend to look down on definitions because I just felt like, oh yeah, like they're so simple. But then when it actually comes to the exam and you get like a 1 or 2 marker on like the definition of stuff, so for example, define this term, define that term, I just go blank because like I know what it is, but I don't necessarily know how to put it into words and what the exact definition is. A lot of people use flashcards for this, especially. I just wrote them on a piece of paper because that's what works best for me. I just don't know why flashcards just don't work for me. I don't work with flashcards, so we both just don't get along very well. I'm sorry, flashcards, but you're not the one for me. Bye. Yeah, so like just make sure that you have your definitions right. This is a really easy way to get marks, and easy way to lose marks as well. Make sure that you know like the definition of counter-urbanization, of deindustrialization, and just stuff like that. So tip number 3 is to know your diagrams. Now you may feel like you have revised basically everything, you know the steps of like the process of the formation of something, for example the formation of a waterfall, or like the process of longshore drift, but can you draw the diagrams though? For me, like, yes, I may know what the steps are, but when it comes to actually drawing the diagrams, I just go blank. Also, the fact that I don't know how to draw, it just makes me even lazier to like just draw diagrams. But in the exam, I did get asked to draw diagrams and to label the diagrams and then explain like dot formation, like of a landform. Have 4 diagrams. This one is for the formation of bars, formation of headlands and bays, formation of wave-cut platform, and the cliff erosion, and the formation of a spit. So this one was on the topic of coast. So yeah, just go on Google Images and type in formation of volcanoes or formation of hotspots, formation of a beach. Just draw them and make sure that you know like how to label the diagrams. I think it's also the fact that I'm partially a visual learner, so I could just like look at my diagram drawing and just remember like what it looks like. Your drawings absolutely don't have to be like next level A-star GCSE art drawing. If you can relate, if you don't know how to draw like me, then you know, we share the same problem, girl. I feel you. If you can relate, give this video a thumbs up. Or even if you can't relate, even if you know how to draw, even if you're amazing at drawing, please still give this video a thumbs up and teach me how to draw, or draw me. Okay, what was that? Let's move on to the next thing, which is what everyone tells you to do. Past papers. Now I know that you guys are doing the new specification and you guys don't have past papers, but no excuses. You can still do the past papers from the older specification, you know. They're still helpful. You see this? Yep, this is my folder of just my geography past papers. I have past papers all the way from 2009. Look, you guys, this folder is like thicker than me. By the way, they're falling apart, so I'm not even gonna bother like flicking through the pages because, well, they fell apart and I don't want to fix them. That's another issue for me to deal with after filming this video. I need to fix my folder that fell apart, even though I don't even use this anymore, so I'm probably just gonna like put it somewhere and forget about it. There are 2 ways of doing past papers. Well, for me personally, there are 2 ways. The first way is when you do a past paper before you actually like go over your notes and start your revision. And so this way you can just focus on the stuff, on the questions that you got wrong, because clearly the questions that you got right are the ones that you understand more about, and the stuff that you got wrong, you need to go over those topics and just focus on those. This is a very good way. If you're running out of time, then do this, but like, you know, you have to start your revision early, so try to not run out of time. Another way is obviously after you've revised the whole thing and you just want to test yourself and do your past papers under time condition, so that you just like get a feel of how much time you actually have in the exam and you don't run out of time when it actually comes to your actual exam. I need to breathe. I'm also very thirsty, but I don't have water around me and I don't want to go outside and get water, so I'm just gonna keep talking until eventually I get very thirsty and I need to go outside, even though I can't be bothered to stand up. So yeah, past papers, you can either mark them by yourself or you can ask your teacher to mark them if they're not so busy. If not, then you can just get the mark scheme and mark the paper by yourself, but be harsh. Be harsh on yourself. Be harsh when it comes to marking your papers, especially your own. And I know I'm guilty of this, but like when you're doing the past paper, try not to look at the mark scheme. Like I know some people get the temptation of like, you know, I'm just gonna take a little peek at the mark scheme. Like, oh, you know what? I was gonna write that anyway. No, like don't open the mark scheme. Don't look at the mark scheme. Don't take a peek at the mark scheme. Get the mark scheme away until you're done with the paper. Okay. And also examiner's report. Something that I didn't do enough of, but I know that it could be helpful. So just go on your exam board website and look at the examiner's report for that paper that you're doing, so that you know the mistakes that other students did and you don't have to repeat those mistakes, and what they did well, and so that you could do the same thing as well. Okay, so this next thing is also one of my favorite ways of revising, and it is to watch videos on YouTube. I know, right? you know, this platform could actually be very helpful. Like, it's not just everyday watching makeup tutorials, it's not just everyday watching story time. I got kidnapped by my Uber driver. If you don't understand the topic, if you don't understand how a tsunami happens, then just look it up, you know, on YouTube, because essentially you just get like, I don't know how to put things into words. You just see clearly how it happens. Instead of looking at your textbook and just being even more confused, just go watch a video and hopefully it's gonna clear up your confusion. Watch geography movies. I'm not really a movie person, nor am I a TV series person. I know, shocker. Only movies that I like watching are like geography movies. Like, you know the movie The Day After Tomorrow? That is like one of my favorite movies of all time. Or like 2012 or Super Volcano. The movie The Day After Tomorrow scares me because you know why? Because it could actually happen in real life. I'm not gonna tell you guys what it's about, but just watch the video. I mean, just watch the movie. What am I saying, please? Tip number 6 is more of a revision technique, and it's to explain to someone. It's to teach someone else. It doesn't matter who it is. It can be your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your pet, your dog, your cat, your rabbit, your pet rock, your friend, your grandma, or if you don't have anyone, if you're like home alone, then you can just talk to yourself. Or you can just like fake vlog. So just like take out your phone and be like, hey guys, welcome back to my vlog channel, and I just learned something and I will share it with you guys. So these are the different types of coastal management. There are hard engineering methods and soft engineering methods. I don't know. Sometimes I do that. Say you're getting someone who doesn't even know geography, someone who doesn't do geography. It's even better because essentially you do have to explain things like more clear and more understandable, because they don't understand what you're saying and they need to understand. But like, this is a really good way to get you thinking on the spot and just to make sure that you can explain it to someone else. If you can't explain it, then how are you going to explain it on your exam paper? Get a CGP revision guide. I have this one. I got it like at the beginning of year 11. It also has practice questions, so there isn't really any excuse for you guys to say that, oh, we're doing the new specification, we don't have any past papers. Well, not only do you have the past papers from the previous specification, but you also have the practice questions from the CGP revision guide. So yeah, no excuse. Bye. I know I should have said this when I was doing my tip on case study, but I'm gonna touch on that a little bit, because when I was in year 10 and like starting GCSE geography, I never really did past papers, and so when it came to like mock exam, I wasn't getting to where I wanted to be. I knew that I understood the stuff, just didn't know how to like write out my answers correctly, and it's all because I never really did past papers. And it wasn't until like the first mock of year 11 that I started seeing progress, and this was because I started doing past papers. Yay! Past papers to the rescue. Is using your textbook. Now I personally didn't really use a textbook. You can use your textbooks, you know, very detailed, everything that you need to know. You can also make notes from that. I personally did not really use textbooks. I just used like the internet. The next thing that I want to talk about is fieldwork. In the new spec, you guys don't have coursework, but I did have coursework. Now, coursework for me had a really special place in my heart. I worked so hard, and I'm actually gonna show you guys if I still have my coursework. Now, the night before the coursework submission, I just didn't sleep. Yeah, I was awake for like 40 hours. I did not sleep. The next morning, around 5 a.m., I printed my coursework and I went to school and I just slept. I slept on the way to school. I slept in school. My coursework, it was about like 40 pages long, I think. At the end, not gonna lie, really worth it because I was only like a mark or 2 marks off full marks. So I don't really know if you guys can see, but let me just zoom in a little bit. Okay, so that's my coursework and my content page. Yep. Fun stuff. My graphs. Oops. Scroll. And a lot of graphs, more graphs, a lot of numbers, a lot of data, and yep. This was actually, nope, not even 40 pages long, 34 pages long and 5,411 words. Although you guys don't have coursework anymore, you guys do need to answer your fieldwork questions on your exam. In my exam, I didn't have to do this, but now in A-level, I have to do this. Like, when I have my exam in the summer, I do have to do this, so. But now that you have to answer your fieldwork questions on your exam paper, I guess the tips that I would give you guys would be, when you're going on a field trip, make sure to take down notes and to like take down all of your data and your findings, and just so that when you're revising before your exam, you have something to refer back to, and just be sure to pay attention and actually like be attentive and serious. I did my field work, like, not gonna lie, we had a lot of fun. Me and my friends, we had so much fun. I actually kind of miss it now, but I'm going on another geography field trip soon, so that should be fun. We went on like a 3-day field trip to another emirate to look at the coastal management and stuff like that. We had fun, but I just wish we could have maybe paid more attention. One of my friends, when we were at the beach, one of my friends was trying to shove an orange down my other friend's back, and it was the funniest thing ever. Like, I still have the video on my phone and I laugh at it every time I see the video. Tyra and Nabiha, if you're watching this, yes, I'm talking about you. And if you're put in a group with someone or with a bunch of people who are not as hardworking as you would want them to be, then just tell them like, hey guys, I don't know about you, but like, I want to pass geography, so can we like work together? It won't take a long time, just this one time, and then I won't have to talk to you ever again. Okay, bye. And when you're in the exam, forget to always refer back to your hypotheses and justify justify what you have observed, analyze and evaluate your findings, and also like include why you think the methods that you used were effective or why it wasn't effective, and prove whether or not your hypotheses are wrong or right. And that's the only thing that I can say. I mean, obviously I didn't do this when I did my exam last year. I kind of looked at the sample assessment materials and I kind of looked at the type of questions that you guys would get. One last thing is to just make sure that you actually know what you're saying. I don't really know how to put it in words. You have AO2 and AO3. So AO2 is just basically having to demonstrate your knowledge and just making sure that you're making clear points all throughout. This is mostly for your longer type question, 8 markers, 9 markers, 12 markers, so like your case studies question, you know. And AO3 is just you having to apply your understanding and your knowledge, giving examples, giving your case studies, and just show the examiner that you know what you're talking about, you know your case studies, you're making clear points all throughout, you're making your judgment, you're assessing each point, you're comparing, and you're evaluating, and you're not talking gibberish. So I guess that's all that I have to say. Yeah, I don't know if I've missed anything out. If you have any other questions, if I didn't really explain something properly, then please leave a comment down below or DM me on Instagram. Follow me first though. Add me on Snapchat. I will leave everything on the description box below. If you find this video helpful, please share to everyone in your geography class or people in school, or just share it to everyone, even if they don't do geography. So please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys hopefully in my next video. Don't forget to keep revising, but also take some breaks and have fun. You know what, I don't really know how to do an outro, so yeah, I hope you guys like this video. Please like it, subscribe, comment, share. Bye.